Hello and welcome to another video from the Silver Citizen. Remember, if you like what you see, that like it, the subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get into it. This is about the game at weekend. A game which City won 1-0. A game that for 70 minutes Leicester were quite happy to not trouble City. Started out City having a lot of possession like you usually expect. Leicester playing 5 at the back, or 5 probably round about the penalty spot, 4 on the edge of the box, and then Jamie Vardy on the half a D thing at the edge of the box. He stood basically on the edge of that. Basically set up to keep City out. City, there was a lot of passing, but no space. There was no space in behind, because Leicester were basically just camped out. Now, it didn't make for a very good game, if I'm honest, but it is what it is. City are used to certain teams being beat before they walk onto the pitch, and Leicester were a beaten team before they came out of the dressing room, as far as I'm concerned. They walked onto that pitch, no belief whatsoever that they could get anything, thinking to themselves, if we get a 0-0, it's a fantastic result. Now, Leicester, although they were shipping goals in left, right and centre earlier in the season, they had someone called Fracas or Friars or whatever. He's got hair like Sideshow Bob. David Luiz. That type of haircut. I can't pronounce his name. Something like that. But anyway, he came in, and prior to the City game, he played 6 games. Leicester had kept a clean sheet in 5 of them. And they'd kept 4 clean sheets in the last 5 matches. So, as much as they were letting goals in left, right and centre earlier in the season, they've sort of closed up shop, if you will. But it came to City, and although Erling Haaland wasn't playing, they were still petrified. There was a few times that City were able to have the opportunity to attack on the break, but Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, they slowed it down. And by the time they'd moved the ball on, Leicester had all got back into shape. And again, they had to work their way through 11 people. They got a little bit better in terms of that, for me, Grealish and Bernardo. Near the end of the half, there was 1 or 2 chances. We had a chance to hit them on the break, and we went forward. The problem was, because they hadn't gone forward for the rest of the match, nobody followed them. So when they got the ball and they went forward, by the time they'd got to the point of putting the ball into the box or looking to put the ball into the box, nobody was there. So they ended up having to stop, turn around and come back. Because, like I said, no one was expecting it. For the first half hour, 35 minutes, gets there, they're not hitting on the break. So when they do it on the break, you're thinking, oh right, and then you're setting off behind them. By the time it gets them to put the ball in the box, nobody's there. So then they have to turn around and come back. Kevin De Bruyne was the highlight of the first half for me. Capped off with a wonderful through ball to Julian Alvarez. Now, the keeper saved it. The flag went up. Looking at the replay, I think if he'd have put it in the net, even though the flag had gone up and it'd have been offside from that point of view. I actually think he was on. I think it was Justin that was playing him on, so I think that goal would have stood. That was basically the highlight of the first half. It was all played in Leicester's half. There was a few breakaways which Leicester had. One with Harvey Barnes, he took John Stones on the outside, went to fire it across. Edison got down and saved it. Ended up eventually going out for a corner. From the resulting corner was one of the breakaway chances that slowed everything down. But the majority of it was played in Leicester's half. Like I said, there was a few times Leicester broke. When City won the ball, because Leicester had broken, that was their game plan. Sit in, have 11 men behind the ball. When you break, go forward with Harvey Barnes, Maddison, Varda, a couple of others coming back to help them in the attack. As soon as you lose your ball, get back. Like I said, there was a few times that City had the chance to hit them on the counter and slowed it down. But that was basically it for the first half. It was a bit boring as a game to watch. There wasn't really much happening. Leicester were, all compact. They were quite happy for City to put it out to the wide, but they had all 11 players within the confines of the 18-yard box. So there was no space in behind. There was no space in the gaps between. It was just a matter of trying to find a way through, trying to look for that one moment of lapse in concentration from one person that you can exploit. Hoping that mentally they get a little tired and you can capitalise. But when in at half time, it was a bit boring of the first half. Came out second half, and Leicester set up exactly the same way. 11 men behind the ball. Tried to frustrate. And 1 second, doors going. Where was it? Oh yeah, second half. Started off pretty much the same as the first. 11 men behind the ball, trying to frustrate City. And the one time Leicester ventured to go forward, they didn't go very far. City got the ball. Mendy had just come on at half time. Probably should have won the ball, but he hesitated and gave Grealish the chance to get it. Grealish turned and started going towards goal, but he was the furthest man forward at the time. Leicester had got the ball and started to come forward, and City were making sure that they weren't going to get it on the counter. Which happened a couple of times in the first half, and probably something that Pep highlighted at half time. And at the start of the second half, you're going to make sure that it's not going to happen. But anyway, Mendy ended up clipping the back of Grealish's leg. He went down, free kick. No argument, it's a free kick. Just that. I have heard a couple of people say that he could have got a yellow card. Why, I have no idea, but I have heard it. But it was never a yellow card. It was a free kick, nothing more. And what a free kick. Kevin De Bruyne sets up, pinpoint perfection. Kisses the inside of one post and goes into the back of the net. And at that point, I'm thinking, Leicester are going to come out. They're not going to keep 11 men behind the ball now and say, well, we're quite happy with a 1-0 defeat. they're going to come out, they're going to attack more, they're going to try and get a goal, they're going to try and get back into it, and then they'll revert back to shape. Probably. Go back to the game plan. Because pretty much, as I said before the match started, the plan was to stay in the match and then for the last 15-20 minutes try and get something. But I thought they'd come out a little bit. Not that long after, they ended up getting a corner. And it's a beautiful corner from Madison. Picked out Tielemans to perfection. Tielemans had done a goal not dissimilar to this against Wolves where he hit it and bang, but that kissed off the inside of the post. This one was closer to the middle of the net. Now you look at it from behind the thing, although it goes towards Ederson. Ederson doesn't actually see the ball until it comes over the defenders, giving him probably at the most a second to see the ball before getting his hand up and getting a touch. It's a fantastic save. World class save. And it won City the points. It was a fantastic strike, a world class save, and because he's pushed it onto the bar and gone down and the ball is drifting out, I'm thinking to myself, a Leicester player's going to get an header here. I can't remember whether it was a Leicester player that got an header or a City defender that got his head on it. But Ederson ended up collecting the rebound. Then it went back to type. 11 men behind the ball until 70 minutes. And because they had 11 men behind the ball, it was hard for City to break them down. They had a couple of chances. They had a chance before the free kick where Bernardo Silva squared it and Rodri got his foot to it. And that was probably about 30-40 seconds into the half. Went just wide. Keeper wasn't going to save that. But that was the chance. Then you had the free kick. And there was the Tielemans chance. And for City, it was hard breaking them down. They got a few shots off here and there. But Leicester had, like I said, all compact within the confines of the 18-yard box. So it was hard for City to find the space. That was until about 70 minutes when Leicester made a couple of changes. And on came Daka and Iheanacho. City countered that with bringing Diaz on, set of fresh legs at the back. And then Ederson got us the points. Laporte brought the ball out. Was it a foul? I don't know, he caught him, but it kind of looks like Laporte was already making his way towards ground, anticipating being caught and probably thinking to himself, I'll get the free kick, I'll ease it up. The referee didn't give it. I'm not entirely sure VAR would have intervened, but Ederson made the save, so it didn't matter in then. There was another cross that came in that the flight of the ball beat Diaz, and Daka was there. Headed it straight at Ederson. Can't think off the top of my head. It was a couple of days ago. that many other chances. It wasn't a great game, you know. City weren't at the best. Um, it didn't make for a great spectacle. But 3 points is 3 points. We won. Tonight, we've got Sevilla in the Champions League. We've already won the group. The results neither here nor there. I know my dad said that he'd play Mahrez and Alvarez up front, and then he'd fill up the rest of the gaps with the under-21s and the under-19s. I don't think Pep will make that mistake. As I tried telling him, Pellegrini did the same thing against Chelsea, because TV wouldn't change it from Sunday to Saturday, and we were playing away in the Champions League on the Tuesday, so he wasn't going to risk getting an injury or fatigue when we had a knockout game in the Champions League. So he played his kids. Kids he played were Cameron Humphreys, Manu Garcia, Alex Garcia, Bertrand Selena, Brandon Barker, Tosin Adarabioyo. He played Kelechi Iheanacho, but Iheanacho had already established himself in the team, pretty much like Phil Foden has. And someone called David Falpaula. Now, in the academy, these guys were doing exceptionally well. So when you name them, you're like, well, yeah, these are the guys that have got a chance to progress. And for 50 minutes, 55 minutes, I thought they did really well. And then they just blew out of steam, which coincided with Chelsea bringing on the likes of Hazard and stuff, but that kind of dented their confidence, because City had beat Chelsea 3-0 both home and away in the league that year. You're thinking to yourself, I'm good enough to get into this City team, I'm good enough to push for a team, I can play for this City team. And then you go and play against a side who City have beat their strongest team both home and away 3-0. And you're playing a mixture of first teamers and backup players and getting smashed 5-1. It doesn't really fill you with that much confidence. The confidence that you had, you might not have anymore. And so apart from Kelechi Iheanacho, who had already played games for a good 18 months in the first team before that happened, the rest of them are flattered to deceive. I mean, none of them are playing for a club that, when you were watching them in the EDS, you're thinking to yourself, well, if they don't make it at City, they'll make it another top team. None of them have. And when they went back to the EDS, they never hit the heights they were hitting before they got picked. So, like I was trying to explain to my dad, and he wasn't having it. You don't throw all the kids in at the same time. You put one or two in with seasoned professionals. If they get a little bit flustered and a little bit, can't think of the word, but I know what I mean. In trouble. It's not what the word I was thinking, but it's basically the same thing. They get a bit in trouble. When Phil Foden was coming through, he'd be looking for the likes of David Silva to pass it to, or Kevin De Bruyne, or Bernardo Silva, or Fernandinho, Sergio Aguero. Seasoned professionals that he knows if he gives it to them, they'll take care of it. If you're giving it to another kid who's going to be just as nervous as you are, you might lose the ball. You ease the kids in. mean, even with Ferguson in the class of '92, I mean, he stuck all of them for the first game. They got smashed 4-0, and then Alan Hansen turned around and said, "You can't win anything with kids." Well, I mean, he played them, the kids again, but he managed the situation better. I mean, the first game, Giggs, Scholes, Butt, and Beckham. Can't remember why Keane wasn't there in that game, but he might have been suspended or picking up a knock or whatever. But he was back for the game after, and Butt was dropped. No. But anyway, he managed that situation better from that point on. And it took him a while before they were where they needed to be. Anyway, I think it'll be a mistake if he throws all the kids in together tonight, and I don't think he'll do it for that reason. But anyway, until we have played Sevilla and I've watched it, I mean, I'm in work tonight, so I won't be watching it while it's on. I'll probably watch it tomorrow or Friday, and then do it my next vlog. So, till then, adios, amigos.